Hey there, and welcome back to the Second Lunch Podcast. We have a very special guest today, a guest I've been trying to get on for ages. Isaac, which do you prefer?
Yes.
The key is to spell it with two S's if you're...
Yeah.
Oh, it's Isaac.
That's the classic.
That's the classic misspell.
I would draw it as an I and then a little sack as a child. So that's the pictogram.
Isaac, perfect.
A little education for everyone at home. That is a pictogram.
Yeah. Cole, why don't you tell us what you know about Isaac, your guys' relationship? How'd you guys meet?
We met in freshman year of high school, and then, everything took off from there. It was all magic from there. We went to Sasquatch Music Festival as juniors and seniors in high school.
Nice.
And then we lived together in college. So we know each other well.
What's it like living with Cole?
That was great.
What was the most annoying thing you did?
Nothing. He's the
I mean,
best.
in college, I definitely needed to be cleaner. I think that was probably true across the board, but I'm going to call myself out more than the average bear on that. But
No, Cole and I were like rising superpowers in high school that collided and then formed a dynamic bond, I would say. We were really stewarding that house in college.
well, we had the bottom floor.
We had the bottom floor, so
Yeah.
we really you did a lot of the administration, and I feel like I did a lot.
You did a lot of cooking. Yeah, I was in charge of bills and
Yeah.
mail.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Okay.
Except for rent. That was my one
That's
bill.
true, that's
I had
true.
the one bill.
Divide and conquer.
Everybody was responsible in college as far as finances go, so being in charge of bills was actually fairly breezy. It's just a calendar exercise at that point. But Isaac was the head chef, though. We made dinner like 4 nights a week as a crew.
Hell yeah. So did you make like food or college person food?
I would say a blend.
I think it was closer to food that definitely you would be impressed as an average college kid coming around for
Especially as a
like
college kid.
for like taco night or pizza night or
Onion party night.
Did we talk about the onion party?
Yeah,
on
this is Isaac is the author of the Onion Party. He is the inventor.
It was kind of a communal thing. I don't think we would buy 25-pound bags of onions, so that was really where it started, and we would go through them like pretty thoroughly.
Well, I mean the pizzas you would make were you'd sometimes go through a few pounds on pizza night.
Onion pizza?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with roasted garlic as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Isaac was he kept us fed, kept us from living on the ramen diet. We also lived with raccoons. I think we've
So you
talked
lived
about
at the kingdom.
We wish. No, we just had a slumlord. But that was one benefit of living on the bottom level, is we did not. The raccoons were more vertically based.
The raccoons are like, I'm not going.
Yeah,
They were like raccoons that would fight and or have sex all the time. They were like
Yes.
colliding with each other constantly and
Yeah.
fighting for territory in the walls. This is my wall.
And every once in a while, and a raccoon is large, they would occasionally fall down the walls, and so you'd hear them like plinkoing through the drywall.
It sounds like they were like lifting, like doing bicep curls, and then just dropping the weights on the ground. That was like the raccoon's vibe.
I would have known for sure it was them if like a Puddle of Mud song started coming on through the walls. Now they're really lifting in there. Yeah, it was a good college house.
Yeah, raccoons on the walls. I had it all.
And we continued to go to Sasquatch Music Festival through those times. I did want to ask you, Isaac, do you think at this stage in your life you would be capable of ever going to like an overnight music festival again? Not like a bumbershoot, but
Well, it's funny you bring that up because I'm going to Burning Man this year.
that's oh my gosh, that's right.
Which
so,
is really going to be a whole thing.
so how did you to get tickets for that? Is that something that you have to like enter a lottery for, or is that no longer the method where you have to like put your name in the hat to even see if you get chosen to buy tickets?
So they changed it recently.
Okay.
They had that rainy year and that put a damper on ticket sales. So
Turns out people being marooned in the mud was a bad sales tactic.
it was really bad press. I mean, like the people I knew who were there, my friends Josh and Shay, were like, they were unaware that they had made the news. They were just like, oh, it's a little rainy. And then everyone was texting them like, are you okay? Is everything all right? And they're like, it's fine.
That is maybe a good example then of like sensationalist coverage when everybody's texting you like, "Are you okay?" And it's like, I'm having a hot dog. I got my shoes are muddy, but
Is there something wrong with the hot dogs? What do you know?
Exactly.
But I
They're
do
like,
not.
there's all these people trapped at Burning Man. It's like, well, they're not trying to leave. They're there for the full week. Like,
Is the lineup that bad that they said they're trapped there?
yeah. So I'm excited to go. It's definitely less of a music festival than just like, I don't know, a
a
festival.
community art festival
Yeah,
sort of.
exactly. I should know more about it, but
Good time.
I think going in with the open mind and not getting too locked in on what might be there, I think that's a good approach.
yeah.
How long is it? How long are you guys going to be there?
I think we're gonna be there from Sunday to Saturday.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that is intense. And when is it?
It's Labor Day weekend.
Oh,
it
shit.
ends
Okay.
on Labor Day weekend.
Got it. Okay.
So the man burns. That's the thing.
The Wicker Man goes up.
Yeah, on Saturday night.
Okay, rad. So that is like the conclusion of the event. Got it.
Well, they burned the temple the next day.
Okay, so Isaac is in. Chris, do you think you could
No
do that?
fucking chance. Anytime I hear something like, is it the Gorge? I'm like, oh, how bad do I need to see Jack Johnson? Like, there's no fucking way I'm going to go to the Gorge for this. We went for Tame Impala.
We did, and it was miserable
I've
weather.
never seen more people slip in fall.
It was pretty funny.
It was also the only time I think I genuinely insulted Ashley, and it was not on purpose. We had been watching people slip and fall all night, and we were laughing at all of them because they're just eating shit in the same spot. We were right there. And then as you guys were going back, Ashley ate it the same way everybody else did, and I couldn't help it. Because we had watched it happen so many times. And then she just looked at me and the pain in her eyes. Never felt worse in life.
Yeah, the spot we were I mean, you've been to the Gorge a dozen times. You know, when you're standing along the fence line on like the left side, people walk along that fence, but once it got so wet, somebody slips once, and then somebody slips twice, and then the surface continues to get worse every time. So now people, like, extremely carefully, very aware that it's there, are still slipping because the conditions have deteriorated to that extent. Like, people that are clear-eyed and sober just,
And people still kept trying it. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was almost like a bit of a test at that point. Like, this can't really be that slippery. That is mud at a 30-degree angle, but go for it.
It felt like a vaudeville comedy. It was just, it's crazy.
All right. Well, I'm with you, Chris. I don't think I could do another
It's
one.
a whole thing. When we went and saw Tame Impala, we were going to spend the night, but we got back after the show and it was just like, fuck, we could drive home and be home by like 1. We should just go. So we did.
Well, and I mean, when it's that rainy, it's like, well, our tent is not even in great conditions for us to continue to be out here.
Right.
I think the trick is actually to go for longer than one day. Because one day it feels like it's so much work to set up a tent and all this stuff. And then you're like, with Burning Man, you're like committed to being there. It's like a different mindset. And also with more, it's not put such a squeeze on your like time. You don't have to like be like going every minute of the day.
Right.
It's longer.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have like the time sensitivity of going from one stage to another where it's like, oh man, we gotta.
How much beer do you have to bring to something like that? I'm just starting to try to do the math here.
Well, everything you bring, you have to like get rid of or bring out. So there's like they don't collect trash at all, and even the water you use. So like to make food, you have to like any water that you boil or anything, you have to then like keep that and then get rid of it yourself later. You can't like pour the water on the ground.
I would definitely be pouring hot dog water on the ground. So I would not be allowed at Burning Man. I recognize that. I'm not going to go there and break the
Criminal
rules.
hot dog water.
I will pack out every ounce of garbage. I will never dump oil, but hot dog water, I'm sorry. I draw the line. Draw the line right there. That is going right.
I'm actually going to turn all my water into hot dog water just to dump it.
That's going directly into the turf. I don't give a shit.
It seems like it would feed the ground. But
Yeah. Turns out that salt is not great for crops in most cases, but yeah, I did forget that it is a fully pack it out sort of festival, and that's how it's promoted as carbon neutral sort of event, or because I think they are granted use of that land on the pretense that they pack everything out.
Yeah, it's native land.
Right.
And yeah, it's like one of their values is radical sustainability, or self-reliability, something like that. Radical self-reliance. I think that's what it is. So you really are supposed to like be able to take care of yourself fully. all of your water, everything, you know.
Yeah, I see. Well, it'll be a hell of a time, I'm sure. I'll quit,
Yeah.
I'll quit
Good luck with
interrogating you
that.
about it. One thing I did also want to ask both of you, because I feel like you'd be kindred spirits on this one, although I also do it. I think you both like to, when you find a new song that you really enjoy, repeat it a couple times. Am I wrong about
A
this?
couple times.
That's the only way I listen to music.
Right.
Repeat one.
That goes back to like the iPod Classic Gen 3.
I listened to the song Black Hole by Architects today well over 3 dozen times. And that's not the first time I've done it this week.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I mean,
It's a good song.
don't get me wrong. I did like a 6-banger on a song recently, but 30 pluses.
Hey,
That's
imagine
impressive.
liking a song the 36th time as much as you liked it the first time. Arguably more, because now I know everything about it. You know?
It's a compelling argument for addiction. Imagine wanting something and getting it repeatedly.
Injected into my veins.
It's kind of a terrible way to consume music, though. I sort of wish I could change, because
It
then you're
is.
constantly just burning through songs, and you're like, I don't want to listen to that one. I listened to that 30 times yesterday. That's no good anymore. Throw it out. So it's this really short cycle of just constantly needing.
I
like,
actually
a new,
hate
really-
my top 25 most played songs because
Yeah.
I've heard them all a million times.
Definitely.
You've Hotel California at each one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard this a million
Well,
times.
that's why I like Hotel California. Haven't heard it that many times compared to the other ones.
That's right. Yeah, you haven't had a 36 in a day lately. That's fair.
It's just not sustainable.
It's not. I actually prefer, like, I love to listen to an album beginning to end. Like, when I find a really good album, that's my favorite thing. I'll listen to that, the album, the whole way through. But yeah, I get trapped with singles, dude.
That's rare. Nobody makes good albums anymore.
It is rare, I know.
It's been a slow first 4 months of 2025, I will say.
Yeah,
that.
well, actually, we're talking about music. You guys have a music newsletter, right? You guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can absolutely promote it. I don't know if I have the like URL sort of ready to do it, so maybe we can provide the link in the description afterwards. But yeah, Isaac, do you want to describe it a little bit?
We'll get the URL soon. It would be perfect for moments like this. This is
Very
why,
true.
This is why we need it.
Well, I'll say this: the link so that you can sign up for the MailChimp, so you can get the
Yeah.
newsletter distribution. We're doing it every 2 months or so. There's 4 of us: me, Isaac, Lucas, and Josh. Are all the inspiration is to expose each other to the music that we're finding, because it's a little easier when you're in high school and college to cross pollinate.
Right.
Now
you
everybody's
guys all, like, have different preferences? Is that the...
there's overlap between all of us, but we definitely have different focuses, I would say.
Yeah, and we're all independently probably like looking for new music all the time, and then
Yeah.
but then also like it's a lot of work to look for music and find good new music. So it's all about like pooling it and sharing it, because it doesn't happen organically anymore.
It's hard because you find a song you like, you listen to it 36 times, you get stuck.
I will say it's tough. Like, even if you say you're somebody that's interested in a particular genre, like our friend Taylor Rubright with hip hop or something, like, okay, you've got all of your major releases, but then you've got your independent label releases, then you've got stuff that people are just putting onto SoundCloud directly. The amount of, if you really want to do a deep dive, it's way different now than it was even like 20 years ago when we were in high school.
Right.
So yeah, me like looking for shitty punk music, it's like I've exhausted all of my resources just looking for terrible garage rock. So yeah, very excited to do it. Our first issue's already been sent out, and I think it's been received warmly. So
Cool.
yeah, we will definitely be posting that in the YouTube description.
Yeah, it's called Oxlord.
Oxlord. Thank you. I thought I had said that at the start. Yeah, Oxlord.
No, we've been playing coy with it. We've been building
bets.
to the name. Someday we'll be on oxlord.com. Don't go there yet, but eventually.
Also, don't buy it yet.
Yeah, I bought it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I've got it. So it's at least been locked down, but we need to do the working out the logistics.
Right. We'll get that figured out.
Cool. What kind of music do you like, Isaac?
Oh, I feel like I like definitely some indie electronica. Who doesn't? And then just genre bending, really good music. I don't know. Besides that, it's hard to say.
Are we going to go to LCD Sound System then at Remlinger Farms or wherever the fuck it is?
I have tickets.
You beat me to it, son of a bitch.
I've been wanting to go to Remlinger Farm for a show. I can't imagine what that's like. Actually, I went there. We used to go there as kids. And it was just like, I was like, this is a pumpkin place. Like, that's all I knew about it. And then when I was in high school, they started, like, doing a fair there. I just went back maybe a year ago. I've got, like, a brewery, a winery. There's a restaurant inside. I'm like, these farm folks are
Really
finally taking advantage of their space.
some entrepreneurial spirit there.
Yeah, the last time I tried to see them was in Dallas, Texas, and there was a thunderstorm. And so they canceled.
That sucks. That's terrible. I don't know if I've ever had a concert canceled for weather. I think I think I've been rained out of a baseball game in a different place, but that's about it.
It was springtime. They were trying this new weird concert venue or like format where they just like do this tour of music festivals that bounces around to cities. But then they kind of were like, it turns out there's a reason why they do music festivals in the summer. It's because the weather's good. Like, during it, in the spring is like not a great time to be like, all right, everybody, let's go outside.
Yeah, it's fairly risky. I mean, you told me about the festival you guys went to years ago, or maybe it was just a concert, but when Lucas was in town with Linnea, and it went from like 98-degree high one day to a low of 48 the following day. So just the old 50-degree swing, which unless you packed in a very specific way, you're probably not prepared for both ends of that spectrum.
No, we told them not to bring coats.
It's-
We were like, it's hot here, just skip it. Like,
Whatever you do, don't bring a coat.
don't bring a coat. And then we were like, it's fine, we'll be okay. And we left at like noon when it's kind of warm, and then instantly we're so cold
it's
for the rest of the day,
And
just shivering.
your only options for reprieve are like $150 sweatshirts from the merch booth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you lived in Texas. You don't seem like a Texan
You
to
know,
me. What was that like for
what
you?
do I seem like to you though?
Seattle. You fit.
Is
You
it the
definitely fit
Kraken
here.
shirt?
Yeah, there you go. Dead giveaway.
Ah, if only he was wearing a Stars shirt.
Yeah, a Texas sports team shirt.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it says. Woo.
Yeah, I don't know. I moved there kind of randomly, so it was really to try living somewhere else. That was really what drew my wife and Jordan and I to Austin. We had a couple friends there, moved out there, lived there for 5 years, and then just moved back like a year ago.
Yeah, it did
Jeez, I didn't realize it
throw
was
some
5
cold
years.
water on it that there was a whole pandemic, not too long after.
That changed things.
You were
Why is that?
You were the last people that we visited. You were like the last plane we got on before COVID. We visited you before Thanksgiving of 2019, and then that was the last plane I got on for a while.
Was Texas a good or bad place to be during the pandemic?
I don't know. There were some things that were nice about it. It's a lot of space and a lot of outdoor venues, so that was kind of
The
cool.
6-foot thing was easy.
Yeah, exactly. And just like, we had a duplex, so we weren't just like, I think the worst place, right, is probably like Manhattan.
Yeah,
On the scale of bad, like very expensive, everything that you're paying for you can't do. You're trapped in an apartment you never intended to even like cook dinner in.
Yeah.
right.
They keep their jeans in the oven and stuff. Like that would be terrible. So it was, and then I guess I don't know what the best place would be, a farm where you just didn't even notice it. Like,
Yeah,
What's
just
going on?
completely isolated.
Yeah.
so somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, the danger of Manhattan during that time would have been high. On that topic, one of our questions that we had beforehand was, what is the most dangerous place you would be willing to travel to?
I don't know. I mean, I've definitely thought about going to like Guatemala before. I feel like that because it's funny because I feel like certain parts of Mexico and then just like Central America are like some of the most dangerous places in the world, right?
Gets patchy. There's always touristy places that tend to be like safer, and then just like America, I suppose. It's like if you go on vacation in one part of Seattle versus another, you'll probably have a pretty significantly different time.
But I imagine they're cheaper, right? So you're
That's
kind of
true.
it's like
You gotta
a form
know
of, it's a form of gambling.
Right? I'll roll those dice.
So I don't know. I'm not sure, like, besides that. I would like to go to India, but I also feel like India would be a lot, like, of just as a place to visit. I don't know.
Yeah, I would not know where to begin. It's a massive nation. So it'd be like visiting China in terms of like, well, what cities do I even focus on? I can't possibly... Like, Ashley and I, we've only gone on one international vacation so far, and it was Ireland. that is a small place. There are fewer people there today than there were in 1865. So,
Really?
so like not a lot, not a lot of things changing real fast over there. There weren't that many different cities to check out. There's only one city with more than like 250,000 people, whereas in China, it's a couple hundred of those. So, yeah, I would not know where to go in India first.
What's the most dangerous place you'd visit, Cole?
Raiders game? Well, I don't know if that's
That's close to my answer. I said Buffalo.
Yeah, the elements, the weather elements there are the opposite end.
Right. Well, and the highest,
I might melt.
The highest murder rate in the country as well.
In Buffalo?
Dangerous place.
I did not know that. I'd be killing people too, though, if it occasionally dumped 6 feet of snow.
If
on
I
my
lost
house.
that many consecutive Super Bowls,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I'd be killing.
And this many years of people being like, this could be their year, and then they just lose in the divisional round. Like, dude, the Titans get closer than you guys. Like, Jesus Christ.
Are you telling me we're gonna play Pat Mahomes again?
I think it's one thing if you occasionally get 6 or 8 inches of snow, but when you change that to feet, which only really happens around like the Great Lakes when one of those like bomb cyclones, like what do you do with 6 feet of snow? Just like, is that month just it? Is it over?
Yeah.
You're just kind of calling in for the...
I don't go outside if we get 2 inches of snow.
Yeah, I mean, different infrastructure for dealing with snow in Buffalo than we have here.
Actually, I'll go on a walk with a beer because it's one of those. It's just there's no rules when it snows. So it's public intoxication. Go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, when we were in high school, we'd go up on Finney Ridge and drink when there was a bunch of snow on the ground, and
Fucking A.
you can't drive up that hill. The cops will have to pursue you on foot. And there's so many car accidents that have already happened that day. They're just not worried about us.
Right. It was like us at the Tame Impala show. You're just watching all these cars crash.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm also a problem, but not as much of a problem.
Yeah. I'm just watching people crash. Just leave me alone.
That was a thing in high school for sure. How snow days turned into drinking snow days. You're like at a really weird point in time in your life where you're like a kid, but you're like, oh, it's snow day. I can't wait to drink.
Yeah.
This is gonna be really fun. Let's steal some wine.
There is sort of a transition where, like, during the day you might sled for a bit, and then as nightfall approaches,
Yeah,
let's go do a beer run.
I remember like smoking a bunch of weed and then going trick or treating at one point, and I'm like, that's like a weird blend. Because I was just really stoned, and I was like, free candy. I'm kind of young, and like people would comment like, a little old to be trick or treating.
Yeah, where's your costume?
Yeah, like, whatever.
I'm a stone guy.
Yeah, who makes the rules?
Isaac and I definitely did the little bit of high school and college smoking. I distinctly remember the gravity bong. Sometimes I wonder where it is today.
Yeah,
The Dasani bottle.
It's in the garbage patch. It's the key thing holding the garbage patch together. If you pull it out, it just disintegrates.
That resin could not be broken by the bonds. Could not be broken by water.
Yeah, we like escalated so quickly in terms of like smoking weed that we were gravity bonging before like I'd even really been caught by my parents for smoking weed, and I was like, that's too much.
Yeah. Like when I brought over Keef and you made that comic that was just, Keef, it's the new weed. Which, for your knowledge, Chris, it's just like a low-grade crude hash.
Yeah.
But, yeah, fuck you up pretty good if you're 16. Yeah.
We were pushing the limits. Mostly, I think, for financial reasons. We were just like, it's like how you had to get every piece of meat off the buffalo. We were like, the keef comes off of here, the resin over here, like, you know.
Yeah, I remember the resin scraping sessions, and those are definitely bleak times. Dark times in the kingdom. Let's transition to a sunnier topic here, because we did talk about football for a second, mostly about Buffalo. Do you have a favorite all-time NFL draft pick?
Matthew Golden.
Such a victim of the moment.
Recency
Fucking Christ.
Our first round receiver in 23 years.
Literally, dog. I wanted a
died.
receiver and a tackle with our first 2 picks, and we did that. But when Mark Murphy said for the first time in 23 years, I knew that meant we were taking a receiver. I blacked out. I had to rewatch because I just started losing. I didn't even care at that point who we got. I was like, receiver in the fucking first
Could
round.
be like a 5th round grade guy. You're like, fuck it, man.
I was running around the living room punching the air. I was so fucking excited. Finally.
The only draft coverage I watched was that 5 minutes of like the Pat McAfee show where they drafted golden, and it was like all I needed. I was like, I nailed it. Like, that was perfect. Everyone just went crazy, and they're like freaking out. The fake Mel Kiper is like, ah! It was great.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if I could vote for that one yet, but that is very exciting.
Yeah, I've never enjoyed a draft pick more, ever. I've never celebrated. I get mad. My initial reaction is anger, and then I sort it out by the end of the night. I've usually come to terms with it by the end of the day.
Well, I guess this is a good question then. Are we talking about one we were most happy about, like the night it occurred, or are we talking about one that we look back on with the most fondness?
Either or.
Because the answer I'm going to give is definitely the latter and not the former at all.
I was pretty excited about Kevin King too. Would that be yours?
Kevin King, I was pretty jacked. That would be more. Yeah, I was excited draft night. He disappointed me. The one I was gonna name that's the opposite is Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Because on draft night I was confused. I was not angry, but I was very, very confused.
That was similar to my trajectory. I was fuming when it happened. I threw a pillow at the TV, and then
At least it's just a pillow. That's like pretty. That's
I
kind
don't
of.
want to hurt the TV. It's not the TV's fault.
It's more fun than anything.
By the end of the night, I was confused. By the end of the weekend, I was like, he might be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there was certainly a reason for trading up, but with everything that happened with Rodgers after that, and with Love, of course, you and I both agree, throws some interceptions that I wish he didn't. Little Favrean.
Makes it more fun.
He's a little Favrean, but he has worked out, and I can enjoy and watch my team again. So
Yeah.
He's kind of youthful in a way,
yeah, he brings a little bit of joie de vivre.
Yeah.
Both in terms of youth and experience.
Not being a grumpy ass old Aaron Rodgers either.
Oh God.
He had really turned into like fat Ben Roethlisberger at the end. That just like you're just miserable to hear from.
Yeah.
You're just complaining all the fucking time, dude.
Go away.
And like every time there was an incompletion, the camera would zoom in on his face and he'd just roll his eyes so hard.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, you threw it at the guy's feet 4 yards wide, but
But he ran the wrong route,
yeah, but he knows that if this happens, then this other thing.
Yeah. Do you remember when he basically got Mike McCarthy fired?
Yeah.
He just didn't like the play calling, so he kept throwing the ball away.
Yeah.
It was like the most balls he'd ever thrown away in his career by like 3 times.
Yeah,
And he led the league by an insane margin of throwaways.
and we
which
still
was just
had
like-
the same receiving core. We
Yeah.
still had like an aging Jordy Nelson. But
And I remember, I remember
Cobb-
being like, you didn't even let the play develop. You just threw the ball away. You just didn't like the play. Why didn't you audible or something?
Yeah. I always wondered if that 3rd and 9 draw play that we saw when we were there, if Rodgers like audibled into that or something.
To get McCarthy fired.
McCarthy was fired by the time we got back to the hotel in Grafton. He was fired 4 hours
forgot
later.
about
Like
that.
there wasn't even time to like dissect what play had done it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if that was like
I think I pinpointed the moment. I think it was that play.
you immediately yelled, "You're done, McCarthy," and indeed he was done. Nobody else in the stadium realized it at the time except Chris.
Oh, you were both there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris, Ashley took me, she had bought tickets as birthday gift, but coordinated with Chris to, provide the full Packers fan experience. So it was a fantastic weekend, even with the loss to the Cardinals. That actually was
Josh
just
Rosen
very funny.
Cardinals.
The Josh Rosen Cardinals. It is important to call them
Holy
their full
shit.
name.
Josh Rosen's parents were staying at our hotel too, so there was a bunch of not just Cardinals fans, but like Rosen fans.
Yeah. Like
that we had
literally
to come back to.
that they were there to see one of his like 3 NFL wins ever, and he did it in the guts of Lambeau
And we had
Field.
such good seats. We were in like the second row. We were so close to Larry Fitzgerald's sweet fucking ass, dude. It was right in front of our face.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy seeing his butt in person, Isaac.
We
I'm
did-
telling you, it was nuts.
I will say that we did get to go back and see a win later on. So
Against the
my
Seahawks,
only
that
memory of Lambeau is not like a remarkable loss that got a coach fired.
And you're still young.
That's
You got time.
That was also funny because Katie and Ashley forgot how the seating works at Lambeau Field. They do odd numbers on one side, evens on the other, so they got lost. And Cole
It is a
was-
very weird way of doing
Cole
it.
was
That's
the only
insane.
person who had a phone that still worked because like I for whatever reason I just was like had no service in the stadium. So he had to go try to find them, but they got back to the seats like as soon as he left. And he comes back like 10 minutes later, and I remember him coming up the stairs. How's the game?
Well, it's also 20 degrees. I've been drinking for hours, and we're losing to the Cardinals. So there was a lot of other things swirling in old Duders had there that made my mood a little less good. Isaac, did you have a favorite draft pick? I know you're a more recent convert to the NFL in the last decade, but
Yeah, I'm a 12 since 12.
I mean, that's a pretty good run. It's not too
People,
bad.
yeah, used to say it's like a mean thing. I think it should be a point of pride. We should be proud of how short we're a fan of a team.
Hey, you're still a fan.
Yeah,
and you
that's the
missed all the
thing.
good stuff.
You're still in it, so that's all that matters. You've got to start at day 0 sometime. So, but do you have a favorite Hawks pick or otherwise? You guys haven't had many fun drafts because you've been good most of the time. There haven't been a lot of opportunities for them to like pick someone cool.
They reset recently. There was like a few years where it was just terrible. They had like 3 picks in one draft, and I was like, what are you guys even doing? What's the plan?
Were we even good enough this year to rationalize only having 3 picks?
Well, you had a linebacker at safety, or a safety at linebacker, whichever.
One of them.
Anyway, yeah, Jamal was maybe not the person to spend all your picks on.
No, I like the Devin Witherspoon pick from
Ooh,
a
yeah.
few years ago. At the
Yeah.
time, I was very much like, what? Why? Because it was like the top 5 pick. I was like, we have a bunch of cornerbacks.
Yeah, but
And
you also got Smith and Jigba that year, right? So you
Yeah.
got the best corner in the draft and the best wide receiver in the draft.
Right.
Like pretty cool when you get the best guy at 2 different positions in the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sick.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And this year was good too. I love that they got a guard. I felt the same way about
Who's a farmer?
a farmer.
I'm
exactly.
all about that.
Yeah, no, it was.
There's not enough
needed.
farmers in the NFL, man.
No, they're all in it for the money.
Yeah.
Just the wrong reason. You have to love football, which is the same as farming.
Yeah, I mean, also, I do want to say that even football is not... You got to be really lucky for that to be a really lucrative... What's the average career for a... I'm just saying farmer might be better.
I think 2 years.
Farmer might be better. Yeah. For a lineman, I think the average is like 5 years or something.
Yeah, better than a running back, but still, whew, that is rough.
I think they should try it without the helmets, just for 1 year, and see how it goes.
The rugby players seem to do pretty well, but I will say that also there are some bigger fellas playing.
They also don't
NFL.
launch themselves into each other's heads because they're not wearing helmets.
Right, that's the thing, is the play corrects itself, but then again, there is a CTE problem in rugby too. There's still enough, there's still enough collisions that have been happening, and just like football guys keep getting bigger and stronger. Maybe 60 years ago, the guys didn't get as many brutal shots, but people are just faster and shit, and you just get hit harder.
Why is evolution happening and I still get sunburns?
Concussions too.
Fuck?
Come on.
Are you kidding? Yeah, concussions sorted out.
That is a fair point. The sun's been around for a while.
Yeah.
In terms of evolutionary defense mechanisms, you'd think that would be like the first thing that we
Yeah,
work
you
on.
look like the type of guy who gets a sunburn. Isaac, you get
Oh,
sunburn?
no.
You tan?
Never. Yeah, of course. I'm so pink the second the sun comes out.
Dog, yeah, I'm sunburn city. I am either white or I am red. There's
Yeah.
I do not tan.
My arms kind of do this thing where I get a bunch of freckles and they blend into a tan, like if you squint your eyes. So that's as close
It's
as
kind
I
of like
get.
pointillism, like that
Yeah.
art style.
But we're all apex predators. It's kind of weird to think about us like that. But
Yeah, I don't know if I am.
you are.
Theoretically.
You're a human. You won. We made it.
Yeah, I did go to Subway today, and there's like 3 animals on the sandwich. This is crazy.
You showed them.
Absolutely. We've like industrialized being the apex predator.
That a lot of us can just be fat, lazy slobs. I had to get a doctor to pull my wisdom teeth out. Still the apex predator, though.
Yeah, I went on a walk because I've been sitting down too much today.
Yeah.
That's me, like, that's every day.
Yeah, I get out for a walk at least 5 days a week because otherwise I'll be right back into diabetes. I'll be a dead man.
Got to.
What?
Well, apex predators are known for walking, so.
That's true. You got to demonstrate that regularly.
Like, alligators are scared of us. Like, if you go up to a wild alligator, it'll be like, it won't, like, attack you. Unless you get really close to it. That's what they told me at the alligator place in Texas.
Who wrote that? An alligator?
I was going to say.
They're, like, worried about us. Because they're, like, surprise animals. So, like, they don't want... We're probably really loud. and
Yeah.
blowing up their spot.
Like the level of confidence that we walk around with. Like, this guy's just yelling and walking past
When
me.
they do attack you, they're just like, dude, knock it off. You're being too loud in my area.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going for a surprise kill of this bird, and it just flew away.
Right. Yeah, and I know that generally speaking, a lot of animals, they don't want the fight. It's like, even if I could take that human, like, he looks wily. Like, he looks like he's got some sand.
Yeah, and if I kill this one, more will come back.
Yeah.
We're like ants to them.
Yeah. Or like a virus. Like, shit, there's just more of them now.
God damn it. Now it's really loud here. Gonna have to find a whole new place.
But you can't feed alligators. That's the rule. Because once you feed them, then they
Just keep coming back.
they just see you as someone they get food from, and then they start eating children. Like that's like a direct line to that.
I see. Okay.
Stop feeding them children.
That's
Duh.
Start feeding them like Canadian geese. You know, something you don't want to see much of.
Crows.
Crows would be good.
Start feeding them crows.
Crows are smart bastards,
Really
so
any
good
birds.
luck with that.
All the birds. What else is mice?
Biodiesel.
Just see what you can test them with.
They're hooked.
Start feeding them our garbage. Get rid of the garbage patch that way.
I do, Isaac. I've got a couple of. I got a food question for the group here. We've got our Gucci or Greasy segment here. Gucci or Greasy smash burgers.
I think Gucci.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't set the stage for what this one is for the new get. Yeah. Gucci, good. Greasy, you're not a fan.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's hard to not be a fan. I mean, I know you guys haven't gone yet, but like, I'm gonna come out really strong for smash burgers. Done correctly, they're a really good burger. You put 2 of them on there, you know,
Boom.
cheese.
I think it's much ado about nothing.
Oh, I was wondering.
I love the smash burger. I like the surface area of the char, because some places it's just way too thick. You just get this gray patty in the center where it's like there's not seasoning on it. That's the thing.
Right.
That's
Well, it's
where
more
the
surface area being exposed, and I mean,
Yeah.
I get the premise,
right.
but I don't like it being sold to me like it's.
Oh, like they've revolutionized the cheeseburger.
Yeah, I'm
well,
like, you just smashed You're telling me what you did to it.
Also, a lot of places have been doing smash burgers or close to it for a very long time. Like a Dick's burger is. Look at the size of the patties on those. Like you're really dealing with a smash burger there. But
the good thing is, it's like pretty much impossible to undercook.
true, it's like a 1 to 2 minute cook time.
Yeah, I really appreciated the smash burger when Jordan and I were in Japan. We actually got one of the worst burgers I've ever had. Like, it was so thick and it was like a meatloaf. Like,
That's crazy.
I think they cooked it beforehand and then heated it back up. And it was like a slab of meat.
They're just waiting for Americans to come around.
And it was like somewhat rural Japan. Like, it wasn't even really in a city. It was just like, it was terrible. And then the person sitting right behind me was like, "This is the best burger I've had in years." I was like, what is wrong with this guy?
Sir, where have you been getting burgers?
Like, I couldn't even finish it. It was terrible.
I wanted to ask you about the food in Japan, but
yeah,
now
this is a great.
Now I've heard you've gone and gotten.
Yeah, 2 thumbs way down. My one experience. It was so good. It was. You have to like Japanese food, but if you like Japanese food, it's really good.
Yeah, Japan's very high up on the travel list for us. Although Ashley's not a seafood fan, so that'll be one bit of a challenge for her. But I think that otherwise we'll have a great time.
That's actually what brought up not the most dangerous place you travel to question, because I don't think Japan's like dangerous.
No, it's pretty.
But
the
Asia is
opposite.
just anywhere in Asia is too different for I don't think I could ever
need
go
to,
and.
Maybe you need to culturally graduate there from different vacations. Like you gotta like work your way over.
Yeah. It is. I don't even think I could.
You've already gone to Italy. You've already dealt with the language barrier stuff. That's at least one huge.
Well, my
thing.
real answer to that question was Russia. I'm fascinated by Russia, but
Oh,
holy
yeah.
fuck, you shouldn't go there. You know?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, especially right now.
Yeah.
Now's not a good time to be.
Yeah.
Japan is actually amazingly easy to travel in. Like, I'm a huge advocate. Everyone should go to Japan. Like, you would.
If I was going to go any place in Asia, I've heard Japan is like a really, really cool. I've also heard they have a ton of really cool bars.
Oh yeah, they're like more advanced than America. Like, it's weird to travel somewhere that's like doing better and further along than America. Every toilet has a bidet, just guaranteed. That's just the standard.
Hell yeah.
Dive bar toilet, bidet. It's just like they just have that standard. It's crazy.
That is nice. Bullet trains.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fun ways to consume food and to spread condiments, though usually coming in plastic. But yeah, I've seen some really nifty devices that they've created for like an on-the-go lunch kit. It's like, oh yeah, instead of ripping open a ketchup packet, you just break this in the middle and it automatically squirts out. My fat ass is like, yes, we need this innovation. And that goes into the same garbage patch we were talking about earlier.
Oh, are the underwear vending machines real? Is that a real thing?
I never saw any.
Damn it.
But the water vending machines are great because when you're traveling, it's just nice to have water wherever you go. You can just throw a few yen in there, get a water. It is a lot of plastic. It's really good.
I feel like the underwear vending machine has got to be like the cigarette vending machine. Very rare. Like,
Yeah.
and you have to be in the right place for that to even exist. Okay, I've got another food question for you. I don't know. The what's up with that? And I guess this is what I'm going to ask you, Isaac.
Yeah.
What's up with that cottage cheese? Do you like cottage cheese?
Big fan.
Really?
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Why? What is it
I
about
like the
it that you
texture.
Oh,
and
that is. Oh my God! Sorry, I couldn't be.
and the flavor as well.
Oh wow!
The whole kit and caboodle.
But
That-
I really am very particular about my cottage cheese. I'll only eat Dairy Gold. I'm pro Dairy Gold. I didn't realize. I thought Dairy Gold was a national brand. I actually thought like a lot of brands were national brands until I moved to Texas, and I was like, "Where's the Dairy Gold?"
Yeah, isn't Tillamook also
Oh,
local or Oregon?
It's hard
Where
to
the
find.
fuck's the Tillamook?
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that where I'm just like, oh, like now I'm eating Daisy cottage cheese and it's not as good.
Yeah.
Like most cottage cheese is bad, but Dairy Gold is really good.
All right, I'm gonna have to try it now.
Jesus Christ, I will not go near it. Katie likes cottage cheese, and she's got Kendall eating it too. She asked me to check the expiration label on the cottage cheese, and it's like, what's the fucking point? It's clearly already gone bad. It's curdled. Why do you want me to? Who can't possibly get worse than this?
It gets so much worse.
Jesus Christ. She's like, when does it go bad? I was like, it came bad. Like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. I can't do it. I cannot do it. That and tuna are two things I cannot fucking get my head around for some reason.
Like canned tuna.
I think that there's
Any tuna.
canned tuna
particularly
is very
canned.
much the same as the cottage cheese in terms of there is so much bad canned tuna. Like,
Also, I would only feed it
can't-
to a cat.
you can't get, well, you better not feed the solid white albacore. That's the good stuff. But the chunk light, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like that's just they've just pulverized it. That is the cat food stuff as opposed to like big chunks of proper fish. And then if you put it in oil, oh man, you've really
The other thing about
it's
cottage
almost
cheese
not
is,
food.
what's with all the wet in there?
It's holding it together.
Guy Fieri would call it a binder.
You have to really like milk, I think, as a starter to like cottage cheese. Like, I think that cottage cheese is kind of a more intense version of like milk.
It is intense.
More milk per milk.
Yeah, because I've made cheese before. Actually, I've experimented with cheese making at home,
Really?
and yeah, and it went pretty well. I tried, well, not really. I tried to make fresh mozzarella, and then it didn't form into balls, so I just ended up making ricotta, which is actually really easy to make.
Well, I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, you didn't totally fuck up. You got the
Yeah.
cheese out of it.
You just made the wrong cheese.
Yeah, it's called pot cheese or farm cheese, which is just like you make it in a pot, and then
Did you have to buy rennet to do it?
yeah,
You did? Yeah.
And then I moved the rennet from Texas to here.
Yeah. I'm not buying this shit again.
And I haven't touched it since. The problem is my wife Jordan really doesn't like the whey. Because when you make cheese, you get two pieces. You get the cheese and you get a bunch of whey, which is this kind of like greeny, watery milk without the milk.
Yeah, kind of like a brine.
Like a brine, yeah. And I would put it back in the gallon of milk, and she would just couldn't like see it in the fridge. It would just freak her out too much.
Yeah, I can understand that. It is kind of weird.
Yeah, but you cook with pasta with it. It's like a great thing to have.
That is a very good point. I didn't think about the use because what is it? Is it Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curds and whey? And I'm always like, why the fuck are you eating the whey? Why'd you make the cheese then? Why'd you go through this process? But
Why add it
I like
back?
it.
Now I'm starting to understand it.
Mad. This motherfucker.
Oh, I'm furious. Well, yeah, it's like
This bitch.
I want details on how she's eating it. Like, are you assembling them together? Did you
At least she wasn't
pour
eating
the
cottage
whey
cheese,
over the
man.
curds like milk and fucking cereal or something? Like, what the fuck happened here?
It's probably like an old school cottage cheese is what she was eating.
That's a very good point. That is actually almost certainly what it was.
We brought up a subject that I would like to dive deeper into. What is the most visually disturbing food to you? Purple carrots for me. Can't do. I don't know why.
You were locked and loaded with that one.
You just made me think of it when you were like, when Jordan sees it in the fridge, she can't. Like, when I was like, what's something that really bothered purple carrots, man? I don't know why. I'm like, that is not okay.
See, I've got a different root vegetable, same premise, parsnip. It's like a carrot that's been sucked dry. It's just completely white. Like, who harmed my carrot in this way?
A Banicula carrot.
It's got albinism. What the fuck?
I don't know what mine is. Maybe like really processed candies and like
Certain colors that only come in like the processed food spectrum.
yeah. Or like the little Debbie type things. I think those give me kind of like shivers when I see them because they're just so intense to eat. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
And you know it could be 50 years old, and you'd never be able to visually tell because it's not like it's going to mold.
Yeah, the oatmeal cream pie. That thing was old when the world was young. Okay, I do want to jump to this week in history because we're down the last like 10 minutes or so here.
Time flies.
Right? Okay, this week in history, I've got 3 questions this time. Oh, we got 15 still. Look at that. May 1st, 1840, the penny black, the first official adhesive postage stamp, is issued in the United Kingdom. Isaac, is there anything that you like to collect?
I think I kind of wanted to collect bottle caps as a kid. I think that was my like passion for a moment there because people are supposed to collect things. It's kind of like part of being a person. You want to have things you care about.
Makes us the apex predator.
Exactly. But I've gone the other way lately. I'm getting rid of stuff. I'm not collecting.
Purging is a way better idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to have less things. So I would say these days, there really isn't much I collect. I just bought a bunch of spices recently, and maybe that's the closest thing to my collection.
Is just improving your kitchen ingredients, and yeah, that's fair.
Like
I think
rare
that counts.
spices. What kind of spices?
Some Szechuan peppercorn.
Ooh, that is
Some-
something I don't have on hand, so that's a fair one.
Ballard Market has an amazing spice section for bulk spices.
Good to know.
Yeah, I have some pictures if you want to see.
Do you have anything planned for the Szechuan peppercorn?
No.
No, it's just have it right now.
But he'll know.
I got a walk recently, and so I think it's all going to come together in some way.
See, Ashley a few years ago, and I still have not used it because it's just very involved, but she bought me a hot pot wok, basically, like an electric. So it's separated down the middle so you can do your spicy broth and your lighter broth, but that's like the dish or one of the main things to use Chinese peppercorn in that I'm aware of, at least, but I haven't gone for it yet. So now I know. Now I'm ready to do it.
Yeah, you should get some and then just eat one straight up. It's really intense.
Yeah, they're spicy, but not in the traditional capsaicin sort of sense. They almost make your tongue vibrate. Like it's a numbing sensation more than a traditional spiciness.
Yeah, it's like a concentrated toothpaste almost.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoa, I can't totally feel my mouth very well.
Yeah, for my birthday, Ashley took me to a hot pot restaurant, and they had the 4 segments, so you could choose quite a few different broths, and I had one of the 4 that was just go as nutty as you can. And you can choose both levels of spice, both traditional and the peppercorn spice. And I went max on both of them, and I was just like, I can't feel my tongue anymore. Like, this is kind of fucked up. It's like a tranquilizer. But it was very good. I didn't give it a very good sounding review there, but
Do you collect anything cool?
yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it a few times. I've got my shoes, I've got the records,
Right.
UFC cards, too much shit. too much.
I used to be on shoes, and then I stopped completely.
Cold turkey.
Yeah. I feel like we kind of maybe passed the baton.
Yeah.
'Cause I was selling shoes and just being like, I never wear these. Why do I have them?
That's fair.
But
That's
if
fair.
you're wearing your shoes, which is a key piece of like the
Having shoes.
sneakerhead thing.
Yeah.
It's like if you're just like hoarding them and being like Gollum about them, that's like not the vibe.
I got these and now I have them.
Anytime I've had shoes for more than a couple months and not worn them, I've just sold them. Like, okay, I failed the test. I'm not using them. You're gone. So yeah, everything is worn at some point during the year. But yeah, when you have Christmas shoes, 11 and a half months of the year, they're not going to get much play.
That's the
Right.
same with Christmas everything.
That's
though.
true.
That's Christmas's whole thing. Is it's like a really finite amount of time.
Yeah, expand that window, man. Open it up a little bit.
Well, that's why they invented Christmas in July.
True. But see that's where you get your 4th of July shoes out. See, now they're encroaching on my other shoe months.
Do you have 4th of July shoes?
I definitely have ones that I would wear on that day. But do I have Halloween specific shoes or Christmas specific? Yes, I do for those holidays.
Nice.
Still working on some other ones though. Still need St. Patty's shoes and yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
I've got
round
it.
out the
I've got a
calendar.
jersey for every occasion. I'm the same way.
Ramadan shoes.
Yeah, is that your collection, Chris, of choices?
Dog, I collect fucking everything. Records, jerseys, NASCAR die casts,
It's like hoarding,
baseball
right?
cards. Yes. It's organized hoarding. Signed
Organized.
baseballs.
Well, it starts as organized.
I
right?
got a Ioannis Cespedes signed baseball for cheaper than the baseball cost.
That's awesome. I do occasionally get a signed UFC card for like $2.
I just like that he signed it and it actually took away from the value.
yeah, he's a decent player.
Yeah.
Seems harsh.
Sick.
When I was a kid, I had a signed J Bell cards or ball, so I'm guessing that
Nice.
was similarly devalued.
Yeah.
Okay, second of the 3 This Week in History questions. May 1st, 1930, Pluto is officially proposed for the name of the newly discovered dwarf planet in the Lowell Observatory Observation Circular.
Very nice.
The name quickly catches on. Isaac, is Pluto a planet?
I think it should be still.
This is really a test of all of our stubbornness.
I don't think you can take things like planet status away.
Thank you.
We're all on the same side. Well,
Thank
except for
you.
Cole, probably.
Just let it be a fucking planet. Who cares? Why are you
Yeah.
giving it and taking it away? What are we doing this to this poor fucking planet for? Also, did the name Pluto come before or after the cartoon dog?
That is a good question. This was 1930, so I'd have to look that up.
I bet you the dog was named after the planet.
So once a dog is named after,
Yeah.
now you're like enshrined.
Hey, a famous dog.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
That's Mickey's fucking dog, right?
Steamboat Willie's dog.
You
Yeah.
enter pop culture and you're just enshrined forever.
That's true.
Why
That's
can't
fair.
it be? If we decided at one point, hey, that rock's big enough and prominent enough, must be a planet. Let it just be a fucking planet. Why does it matter? Leave it alone.
I also don't know. This is a great example. Like, I don't know enough to know what makes a planet and not.
If it's made of ice or not.
There's a dog named after it. When I was in 5th grade, I had to do a planet project, and I chose Pluto. So if it's not a planet, we're going to have to go back and film me for that. Aren't we? Now, Chris, you did a moon project.
I mean, I don't remember the mnemonic device for the order that they are from the sun, so it's like I know Pluto's the furthest.
Can we do it now,
I don't
though?
know
Can we
what's
do
number
the
7.
order? Like the
I was
three
gonna-
of us?
I was just thinking, how many planets can I even name? Do you think you can name them
Is
all?
it Mercury, the first one from the
Yeah.
sun?
Yep. Mercury.
Venus? 'Cause
Yes.
We're
and
number
then-
3.
Yes, and
like
then
the TV
Mars.
show.
Mars is number 4, right?
Is Mars number 4?
I thought Mars was number 4.
Probably.
Mars is
yeah,
the
yeah,
closest
yeah.
to
It must
us.
be. It must be. Mars number 4.
But yeah.
Jupiter?
See, that's right. I don't. Is Jupiter before Saturn?
When
It
do-
is.
when
Oh,
do
I
get
forgot
to
about
say
Saturn.
Uranus?
Somewhere in the middle.
Uranus is either 7 or 8. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And Neptune. I think Neptune's 8.
I forgot about Neptune, too.
See, I would have totally forgotten about
See, I
Neptune.
think we have named everything at this
Yeah,
point.
I
but
think we got him. We just, the order is a little bit.
who the hell knows?
And Pluto,
Pluto.
yeah, see, we don't need more planets to keep track of. We already have enough.
9 was a nice number. You know?
I like just advocating
Perfect
for either side of the argument, whichever fits my immediate, drive.
Okay, we've got our last This Week in History question here. May 7th, 1864, the world's oldest surviving clipper ship is launched in Sunderland, England. So this son of a bitch is now 160 years old. Are you more scared of an old boat or an old plane?
So definitely a plane. Definitely a plane. If there's a boat, I have a chance. You know what I mean? I can try
fair.
to swim for a little bit, maybe latch onto something. Plane, you're just on a fucking rock in the sky.
That's true, but I feel like to even get on an old plane, the plane is passing more vetting to even be allowed to fly, whereas a boat, like, I feel like I could just have an old boat.
Yeah, and what about the Titanic? Brand new boat.
Brand new boat.
Didn't turn out so well.
Piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
They probably didn't think that getting on the Titanic. They were like, this is fine.
This will be great.
We won't crash.
This will be a hoot. Going to America. I'm going to see a Yankees game.
Yeah, God.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I take the boat as well. It's kind of, I hate it, but it's true.
You're sketched out more by an old boat than an old plane.
I know.
No,
the
he's saying he
opposite.
would
would
get
take
on the
them,
boat.
okay.
He would
Yeah.
get on the boat.
Right.
Planes, there's too many variables.
That's high up there too.
That's
man.
high up there. You could probably cruise just to a land if you lost power, right? But
Yeah, but you got to be lucky in terms of where you're losing your fuel or whatever the fuck.
yeah, it's true. You want to land on the water.
They also don't really glide. They're really heavy. Once you run out of
Turns out there's a good reason that people weren't like building unpowered planes and flying them off of buildings.
everybody start flapping. I was thinking this. You think airplanes are really going that fast? Because every time I see them, I'm like, they're going 25 tops. There's no way that's going that fast.
Just shows your.
Well, have you been on one?
Yeah, I have this theory though. Check this out. You get in a tube, right? And then there's windows you're looking out of, but they close the doors. You don't know what's going on outside. Then they just make a bunch of noise. They're just changing the scenery, dude. If I hadn't driven all the way from Seattle to Milwaukee and seen all that fucking stuff in between.
You mean Montana?
Yeah. Yeah, North
All that
Dakota. Ugh. Then I really wouldn't buy the whole airplane thing.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't land on the moon, so
Oh, we totally.
why would
landed on the
airplane?
moon.
Sorry, that's one of my favorite conspiracies. People are like, no fucking chance. That was a set.
It's a great conspiracy.
My
It
argument is
plays
always
well.
it's harder to mimic landing on the moon than to just land on the moon.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna sound crazy, guys, but simply landing on the moon is the easier choice.
If it were on the moon, the flag wouldn't do that. How do you fucking know?
This is back to my Pluto is a planet thing. What the fuck do I know? I'm not in charge of this.
Okay, I've got a question for you guys about traveling in general. So, would you teleport somewhere if there was a 5% chance you would lose one of your toes?
For sure. Absolutely.
How far away is it?
It depends. You can teleport anywhere you want.
If I'm teleporting to Tacoma, I'm not going to risk a toe.
No, for sure. But we want to go to Thailand in like 6
But if
months.
it's like 5 minutes to kick off and I can get to Green Bay on time,
Yeah.
I'll probably lose a toe due to the diabetes-related issues of the drinking at the game. Anyway, I mean, it may as well.
We're talking 1 in 20, so if I just do this like once a year, I got like 2 decades.
Right.
Or I'm just like I'm missing, my second toe in.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah. I'd definitely do it. Okay, what about? Would you say 1 in 5 chance?
Yeah, what about
No, well, it was 1 in 20. It was a 5%.
Oh, 5%.
what about 25%?
Okay, I can't do that. I can't do that one. That's
That's
Playoff game.
okay. Super Bowl,
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, because yeah,
Take a toe. As long as it's not the big one.
dude. If
Do we get to pick which
if
toe?
we're winning a Super Bowl,
random.
you can give me 100%. If we're winning the Super, take a fucking toe. Pick one out, dude.
Take
You want the big one, man? Fucking go for it. Have at it.
Be
Matthew
almost-
Golden catches 2 touchdowns. Woo! Take a thumb.
They'll take your weird double toe, actually. That's
the
twice
double
the
thing.
action for them.
That's true. Only snag half the toe. Ride for free.
Woo! Got away with the fine print on that one.
Because I feel like that's kind of what we do with airplanes, right?
That's. I don't know if it's 5%, but it's definitely a percent.
But you're risking your whole bod.
That's true. It is the whole kit and caboodle.
Because I'm not afraid of like plane crashes at all. I actually kind of like not being in control of the plane. Like there's a certain sense of like zen with it, but some people really are. You guys
I get freaked out by planes.
Ah.
That's why I've told myself that they're just changing the set. I'm not in the sky. I'm not thousands of feet in the air.
Yeah, Ashley absolutely hates flying, and then I'm the worst because I used to have to travel for work, so I'm like the most laissez-faire, nonchalant, like can't be bothered by anything. Oh, whatever. So yeah, I'm not very supportive all the time, but
I average a panic attack probably every 4 flights.
all right, we're back to the 25%.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a time.
I like being like on a plane is fine. I don't like being in like the passenger seat of a car. I feel like that's what I don't enjoy because then I'm just like I'm right there for when the crash happens.
Right.
Like,
This thing will take me right to the scene of the accident.
yeah, far more likely than on a plane. A plane, they're doing all their stuff in the front. I'm just like totally at peace
They're
with
doing all
what
their stuff in the front.
whatever happens is fine by me. Like I'm just not in control of it. Like I think there's a certain sense of freedom in that.
That's fair.
You can get drunk.
True.
Get drunk on a plane.
Shall we wrap it up?
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. You can check out Oxlord wherever, whenever they set up that website. We'll link the MailChimp thing so you can sign up.
Hell yeah.
Check us out: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. If I ever remember to go on there. Not as much fun lately. Jordan, love you all. Bucks and 6.